It is true in both cases. I mean, Spain, it is a safe destination. We've been saying it from the beginning of the pandemic. And second, it is true that the Irish market, it is very important for us, especially if we try to talk in decisionalize our high season. And for us, Irish tourists are especially important in the Canary Islands and other places in our vacational destinations, but we really appreciate all the quality that give us the Irish market. So if we take, first of all, if we take a look to how it's been evolving, the pandemic since the beginning of these rough times. It was true that from the beginning we knew that Spain has to give the sense that it can provide a safe tourist experience. That was something that we did right away since the beginning of the pandemic. We put in place all the needed protocols, all the needed measures in hotels, in restaurants, in all the complementary industry, tourism industry, to just make tourists safe in Spain. And second, we want to give the impression that travel is safe. Again, our tourist web is safe travel, because we need to give some certainty to the travelers. We need to give them the sense that there is nothing wrong to be traveling in these rough times. There is nothing dangerous to go on holidays if you just take into considerations all the measures, all the proper criterions that you need to know where you go, and we've been trying to give that sense to Irish to all the Irish tourists, that they can come here and they know that they can be having some normality in their holidays, and now again to give them in this situation that, and I have to say that we are better now than we were some months ago. Ireland and Spain are one of the countries in the European Union with the highest vaccination rates, and this has to give us that certainty, that safety that we need to enjoy our vacations. Because at the end, if we talk about tourism, it is about joy. It is about all those feelings, all those good feelings that your holidays, your staying can give you along the days. From the beginning, we knew that Spain, since it is in the periphery of the EU, we rely on aviation, on airline travelers. We have much less travelers by car than the Central European countries, so we really need to recover that connectivity. So we was not only try to restore the routes that we have at the beginning, but also rethink how to increase the number of routes. So since the beginning, not only in the Secretary of State of Tourism, but also in collaboration with our colleagues in the Ministry of Transport, we are giving some new schemes to those airlines to at least restore and try to think on 2022 such as the year of the restorement of all airline connectivity, and to try to consolidate their bet on Spain. We've been discussing with airlines in Ireland, with Ryanair and Aer Lingus as part of IG. So we really need to intensify not only the connectivity with our big destinations, but to integrate new destinations, new routes that can give us, as I mentioned before, we really need to look forward in terms of diversity. we want to give Irish the chance to visit Spain all over places, not only the destination that they already know, but we want them to know Granada, Cáceres, we want them to know Santiago, we want them to go to as well to the Canary Islands, the Balearic Islands, to Catalonia. So we really want them to know the diversity of our destinations, and for that, the effort on connectivity is going to be key. 3.4 billion euros that have to do with a new frame of European funds that we all share, or European members share. And what are we thinking when we talk about that huge investment that we're going to put in place in the following 3 years? We need to think about the future of tourism. I mean, it is true that we stopped for over 15, 16 months. Now we are trying to recover from the effects of the pandemic. But we know as well that what we are going to find at the end of this period is nothing to do with the previous tourism offer that we have. So it is the time to do all the investment needed. First, to integrate sustainability as a concept, not only in terms of environment, but also in terms of social and regional and land sustainability. We need our towns to be related. We need our residents to feel comfortable with tourists. We need tourists to have a new experience related with all these terms of sustainability. So their experience in our destination, they know that they're not going to have negative impact on the destination. And like that, we want them to realize that being there in the destination is going to be part of a much wider strategy of their destination, the local authorities, the local traditions, the local products. So this is first element that we want to invest on. Second, digital transformation. I mean, we all know, and you part of the media, you realize it even better than we do, that the future of tourism has to do with digital tools, with how can everyone really can relate with each other with these tools, and how can we increase the experience of the tourist with these tools, because at the end we know that in our destinations in Spain they're going to have a very personal relation with our sector, with all the workers related with tourism. But those tools, the telephones, the tablets, how can increase their experience is going to be very important in the future. And last, experience. I was talking about experience, and if we talk in the Irish market, we know that we can provide the best experience to Irish tourists. We know that Spain not only have sun, not only have excellent offer of sun and sea, but we can provide them with the best experience related with gastronomy, cultural heritage, with music, with all sorts of complementary offer that can increase the sense of wellness here in Spain. In our historical record, to have in October more tourists than in September, it was never happened like in 20-25 years. So for us, it is the impression that we are on the right track, and really it is true that always uncertainty is related with COVID. This is, for you, for us, this is something that we need to live now with this uncertainty until we can cope with that. But as well, we need these kind of figures. We need to realize that all the effort, after all these difficult and rough times, can provide us with a sense that we are on the right track, not only to recover that we have before the pandemic, but trying to, well, provide with a better offer and with a better integration of tourism in all our economy. We were reluctant to be changing from month to month our policy, our restrictions, our measures to try to tackle the pandemic. We were more ambitious, and even sometimes if we were trying to move slowly, but we wanted to do it consistently. We are not going to change. Not now. It is true that always strains. We do all have European member states. We do have or this emergency break, but we want to provide EU citizens the certainty that if you have a vaccination certificate, if you have a PCR negative or an antigen negative, or if you're Irish and you have a restoration certificate, you can come whenever you want, and we will provide you with the fastest and safest travel experience through the border. And we believe that this is a commitment between states. We really need to be consistent on our policies, at least between us, between countries. It is true that we are right now at the General Assembly of the UNWTO, and all countries have provide different measures, but recognize that the best leading action is the one that we have in the European Union, the COVID certificate EU. So right now what we need is to be consistent with that policy. We cannot be changing in terms of, it is true that always our health authorities, they're very reluctant if they find some risk, but right now, after all these months, I think we do have all the tools, all the instruments to provide with the safest equilibrium between health and, in these terms, tourism and economy. We've learned a lot. We've adapt ourselves a lot to the new circumstances, and we really need to provide tourism with this kind of certainty in the future.